I'm Louise Krikorian, and this is Shaping Our Story, where we talk with exemplary leaders who reveal their success. Stick around for my follow-up question with today's leader to hear a very important question. Today we're talking with Heather Kendall. She's lived near the beach for most of her life, and that has influenced her passion and her purpose. She makes seashell designs for her business, Elegant Shells, to create a sense of peace in hotels and homes around the world. Welcome, Heather.
Thank you. Hello. Thank you for having me.
So the first time we met was probably back around 2003. And then in 2016, I interviewed you for WEDU Arts Plus PBS, and that was my very first episode for PBS, and that was wonderful. The feedback that I got on that was phenomenal.
Oh, that was a wonderful interview, and I'm grateful that you chose me. And again.
Yes, again, for this very first episode of Shaping Our Story. So I'm curious, even though I know a little bit about this from knowing you for a while, what was the seed that started your interest in working with seashells?
I'm sure that my interest in nature and especially shells was thanks to my cousin Mary, who took me on long walks at low tide on Clearwater Beach for years. Helping to take care of me when my little brother was sick. And she just always pointed out the beauty and everything around us. And my grandmother did as well, Mary Ford, my maternal grandmother.
So that's a really positive spin on such a difficult time in your life. Your brother was your only sibling.
Yes. Yep. That I had a house full of cousins and my Aunt Diane, and my Uncle Kingsley, and they were right on the water next to Carnival Yacht Club and a block from the beach. And they taught me how to snow ski and water ski and sail. And I wouldn't say that I was suffering through that time at all. I missed my mother and my father and my little brother. And I actually don't recall that time of any sadness, except for the day that I learned he passed away.
I'm so sorry. But
That's
I know
okay,
that you grew up in Florida. So
I did.
those
I grew up.
beaches they're on the bay.
The bay it's in a peninsula, a very thin peninsula. So there's only two streets, but at the north end of the beach. Well, there's one street, and the bay is on one side of the street, and the Gulf of Mexico is on the other.
So you were collecting shells just because it was a fun thing to do, because what child can't resist collecting shells?
Yes, we actually only collected cat's eyes, like tiny cat's eyes, and a lot of them have after they die. There's another shell that has drilled a hole in it and eaten the snail out, and so we would just take a little gold chain and put it right through the hole and then wear them around our neck.
I never knew that. I always wondered how that little hole got into the shell.
That's why the hole is there.
It's really hard to drill a hole in a shell.
It's another shell or parasite, usually another shell or snail that conquers them.
So why didn't you become a marine biologist?
I could have. I think I was more encouraged with my mother shopping than I was to be a scientist. So I have a fashion design and merchandising and arts degrees.
So you grew up around a lot of artists.
Yes.
So that was one thing that really helped to encourage you.
Yes, and I got all the good sides, I thought, of this. My father was a world champion spear fisherman, so we were always on big, fast boats. I was diving at 8 years old with my sisters, and I got to enjoy, all of the marine life right on my dock, and I still love all of that today. And biology was one of my favorite classes as a child, and photography.
So then, how did you actually start creating the shell designs? Because now we go to when you're an adult, you've gotten married, you have three beautiful sons,
Thank
and
you.
you're on a vacation.
Yes. I went on a vacation to the Panhandle of Florida with about 8 families, all of our dear friends, and stayed in a house that had a fabulous vintage antique, obviously vintage antique, a vintage Spanish chandelier, and all of the crystal had been taken off, and it had seashells all on it. And the girls went shopping. We found the store, and Virginia Howard was a seashell artist that had made all kinds of beautiful things, little shades and sconces. Her husband would make bases, and she would just shell everything. And so after that trip, I came home with one of my girlfriends, and we decided that we would give it a try. And we did, and it was quite a success at the country clubs, yacht clubs, at the Christmas boutiques. And that was 25 years ago.
And I recall you saying that you earned about $10,000.
Yes, we made $10,000 in 3 days, our first little shows.
Well, you also had a wonderful venue.
Yes, it helps to be at a place right by the water with a lot of wealthy women that are shopping.
Definitely.
Yep.
So there are a lot of things that really help to shape your passion.
Yes, and a lot of those people became customers over the years for fireplace surrounds and custom mirrors and chandeliers, and they still are today. I have 2 chandeliers due right now to people from back then.
So what would you say is your goal now with your business?
Goal? Am I supposed to have a goal? I have ideas. I have, ideas. I kind of love variety, and so I end up doing other kinds of jobs also. And I don't, I kind of feel like, oh, once I come up with the idea and plan out how it would work, then I've almost done it. Does that make any sense?
Mm-hmm.
Most people plan an idea and then continue until the product's created. But I guess a lot of my joy comes out of creating it, just the ideas, which is like my mother. She creates ideas all the time.
So is your mom one of the people that really helped to sort of coach you through what you were doing, or were there other people?
She definitely encouraged me. When I was 10 years old, she had me create my first collection of shells on a board and name them all and learn about them. And that definitely encouraged me. She was always, she is always very helpful whenever I need assistance. She's helped me do fireplaces and travels with me sometimes if I travel to do a job. And that's always really fun. She's very encouraging.
And she has her own studio, and you have some of your things in the studio, or you teach in her studio.
Yes, she has a teaching studio in Bel Air called the Painted Pear Studio and Gallery in Bel Air, Florida. And I teach small seashell classes there. And she also teaches all kinds of painting classes. Paint your pet or find your favorite photograph and paint it. She's a very good teacher.
Have you ever met any students who have said, I always wanted to do this, but everybody around me told me I couldn't?
I think that I get a lot of customers that are in that position that don't think they can do it. And honestly, they probably can't do it exactly the way I do it, but everybody can learn, to do anything.
So how do you inspire people to follow their passion?
Well, I think by teaching classes at my mother's studio and down in Boca Grande. I teach at the art center there. And I have also taught at private parties people just invite me to their house and have all of their friends over, or if it's a bridal party or birthday party, that kind of thing. And everybody usually comes out of there very happy and satisfied. And as long as they're not extremely competitive and judging themselves against everyone else and just designing or creating from their heart, then they are satisfied and happy and have a new hobby.
So I know that's something that you had mentioned that you, in talking to you before, that something that you really want to do with your work is to help instill a sense of peace and joy in people's homes.
Well, I think that for me, I know that nature inspires a calm, peaceful feeling. And while I'm working, I end up almost in a meditative state if I'm not watching Netflix or some romantic historical drama. I think that just that process of thinking and being quiet and looking at something and figuring out where you want to put a shell or which shell you want to put there it's an internal calm process that you're working with beautiful things and each one's different and you're creating a piece of art with it. It's fun and it is relaxing.
So how do you get feedback?
I guess satisfied customers and people that see it that say it's beautiful and good quality and unique. It's probably the only way I get feedback.
Has anybody ever said, that's not what I wanted, or can you change it?
No, because I work with them throughout the process. I find out what they're dreaming of, and then I oftentimes will do a layout on paper that's the exact size of the piece that we're making for mirrors and fireplaces. And so they see it beforehand, and they also see finished product pictures, beforehand and know what it's going to turn into.
Who are some of your most famous clients that?
I'd say my two most famous clients are Tucker Carlson and Sara Blakely. I knew Sara very well, grew up with her, and am close with her mother, and my sister's best friends with her brother, and my mother's best friends with her mother still today. Yes.
And how did you meet Tucker?
Tucker, I met through, I've done a lot of work down in Boca Grande. It's an island south of me here in Florida. And I have mutual friends that knew him because he lived on the island and knew he was looking for a fireplace and said, "Oh, you have to have Heather Kendall." So that's how.
That's great.
Sam, my friend Sam Hops, he's also a shell artist and is from Delaware, but has lived down there with his family off and on. His mother's lived there for a very long time. And he creates shell pieces with only shells from Boca Grande that he finds, which is very unique. And I think they wanted him to do it. And then he said, "Oh no, I can't do it. You have to call Heather Kendall."
Oh, wow.
That's how I got the job.
So how do you know artists from all around the world?
I know artists from all around the world, thankfully, from social media, from mainly Instagram, following other seashell artists and commenting and liking, and then they realize you're a seashell artist, and then you have messages saying, "Oh my gosh," or "How many hours did that take you?" And when another seashell artist says, "Great job," it's a really great feeling, and they understand how long it took and what went into it.
So that leads us to maybe the next to last question or last question, which is what's next?
Which you are directing me towards, which is a project that I do want to do, and I have started. I don't know, somehow I think that I'm going to do it when I'm older or when I'm not racing around doing so many things. But yes, there is a project, in the works in the beginning that involves a lot of different seashell artists. That's all I'm going to say.
So what I have to say to that is, how do you prioritize?
It's kind of like, what's your plan? The same question. Like I prioritize by what has to be done, or I care a lot about other people in my life, like the people in my life. And if it's a customer that's expecting something, then I prioritize that. If it's a person that needs me, I prioritize that. So that's how I prioritize.
So the project that you have that we're sort of kind of dancing around,
Yes.
that just kind of has to speak to you to say, okay, you need to do this now.
Yes.
So you are working on another project that takes you away from the St. Pete area.
Yep. I have a big bar, a mobile bar that's due in Boca Grande, and chandeliers due in different places. And sometimes I fly to California and put in fireplace surrounds and that sort of thing. But are you talking about my other job as a property manager and bed and breakfast? Yes. Yep. Because my cousins needed some help and I thought that sounded fun. So I have been doing that too. Yeah, 2 weeks out of every month.
And what's the name of that bed and breakfast?
The Hoyt House in Amelia Island on Fernandina Beach. It's a 100-year-old 10-bedroom, beautiful bed and breakfast. And I get to help with the gardens and decorating and designing menus and even being a chef now.
Making breakfast for 20 people, was it?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Wow, you're so talented.
It's very fun. It's
Yeah.
just all the things I like to do. So if I could be on a ranch in Colorado, I would do that too and cook for those people and help take care of their horses. And
Yeah.
it's
Which
all
takes us to our favorite horse.
true.
Alan. Alan is just so sweet and so beautiful.
He is a wonderful blessing.
Yeah.
Grateful
What kind of
for
horse
him.
is he?
He's a Tennessee Walker paint, black and white.
And he just won a lot of ribbons in his very first show.
Yes, he did. He is beautiful.
Yeah. Talk about peaceful and being out in nature and just walking Alan around a paddock. And he's so gentle. He's so sweet. And
Thankfully.
yes, thankfully, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what is the best way to contact you?
I think just through finding me on Instagram, Elegant Shells Designs is the best way. I'm working on creating a new website right now. That'll be up and it'll be called Elegant Shells. But Instagram is probably the best way, or just email me at heather@elegantshells.com.
That's wonderful. You know, I'm thinking about, we didn't talk about any struggles, but actually you touched upon the biggest struggle in your life at the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you overcome them by spending time with people you love and by spending time in nature.
Mm-hmm. Yes. We have to refocus and not allow, I don't know, scary things or negative people to infiltrate your life and take charge. We are 100% responsible for our own happiness, and it's our responsibility to be in control so that we can be good for other people.
Yeah. Well, your sentiments and your artwork and everything that you've created has definitely helped to spread peace and joy around the world. Your work
Thank
is
you,
in
Louise.
hotels around the world.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I hope that people think of the ocean and don't throw cans in it because they saw a shell in a hotel and are appreciative of how beautiful so many things are down below the water.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time and your work.
Thank you, Louise. Good luck on this new venture. I can't wait to see all your stories.
Thank you so much. Bye for now.
Bye.
I thought of one more important question for Heather after our interview, which was, how long does it take to finish a fireplace, a chandelier, or a mirror? She said that it just depends on the intricacy of it. She just finished a fireplace surround that she sold for $20,000, which took her 8 days of manual labor, days and days and days of planning and redesigning architecturally. The chandeliers that she makes takes about 3 to 4 days, and a mirror can take 3 to 4 days, but then that doesn't include the time for cutting the frame and designing it. She cuts the frame, she orders the glass, she lays out the shells, and then she gets her client's approval. I think this really speaks to Heather's success due to her commitment to finishing a project. She combines her passion with persistence. Thank you so much for spending time with us. Please come back and listen to hear more exemplary leaders share their success stories on Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or watch our videos on YouTube. Please follow us, comment, and like us on Facebook at Shaping Our Story.